does open or closed cell foam last before you have to touch it up or replace it or whatnot?
Basically, the attack comes from ultraviolet rays of the sun. So if we left foam exposed to the elements without protection, it would chalk out and get into a crumbly state. Now, if you put it in a wall and it doesn't see sunshine, you can come back, and I've done it. We've come back 45 years, and it's just like the day it was installed. So it's a good product for longevity, and will stay intact.
Okay. All right, and then one other thing I've heard is just the importance of, just in some of my Google searches, just keeping the foam, or keeping the, I guess, chemicals for foam at a certain temperature. It can't get, I guess, too hot or too cold. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, and again, there's two ways to look at it, and one is how you're processing it. If it's out of the can type foam packs, then key temperature. So we would say do not use the chemicals in a cold environment. So how do you do foaming, which likes heat? It likes to hit a warm target in the sunshine and maximize growth or increase the volume of that foam that was sprayed. Mm-hmm. If it was cold, like today we're 30-some degrees in outside, if we sprayed it, it would just kind of lay there and be more like a hard polyurethane varnish and not so much like an expanded foam full of gas that insulates. That's one thing. So that's target issues. What are you spraying on? Number two is the chemicals in the drum container pressure vessel increase in thickness with cold temperature. Therefore, they don't flow as good. They don't mix as good, and we lose efficiency. Okay. So the rule of thumb would be always run your stuff in the drums 70 degrees to maybe 85 degrees, and you don't have issues. Number two, if you spray on a target that's 70 degrees warmer, you don't have issues. If you get outside of that norm, then you have to know a little bit more. Your intelligence level has to be a little higher in order to properly process and get where you want.
And do you have issues? Do you have issues with temperature as much with some of the pressurized cylinders, or is that just when you're mixing with the drums and so forth?
No, it's you do with the pressure vessel and you do with the drums. If it's pressure vessels like BSF's autofrost system, temperature control is key. So typically, let's use an example: a boat manufacturer who puts 25 pounds into each boat to provide positive flotation should the boat sink or not sink. What they'll do is they'll have the autofrost tanks in the room. They'll keep the temperature constant, let's say at 80 degrees. Once it comes through the room and into the processing done, the plant environment could be 55, 60 degrees, and that's okay. And the fiberglass boat or aluminum boat they're putting in sure would be nice if it was 55, 60 degrees each and every day. So maintaining the temperature gives a predictable event. Can you fray away or stray away from that? Sure. But if everything can be controlled, it's more predictable.
Got it. And so, for example, like some of the, making sure the target is warm, I mean, are people just using like heaters and space heaters and stuff to warm things up? I mean, how do people control the target?
Just like you said, another deal is you take your foam pack, your tanks, and you buy one of those polystyrene coolers, and you put the products inside the cooler warm, put the lid on, go outside when it's 30 degrees, and you'll be able to